Welcome to Globewatch with me, Charles Ebune Ed, today from the headquarters of the National Episcopal Conference here in Yaoundé, Cameroon. Troubled with an evasive peace environment, to some that is a fair qualification of the Central African Republic since independence plus half a century ago today. The country is embroiled in a series of crises which have kept at least 2.5 million people out of the over 5 million citizens in need of humanitarian assistance. Agencies around the world, institutions including the Roman Catholic Church, have been struggling to bring normalcy back in the Central African Republic. The question tonight is, why is it that despite all the measures taken to stabilize the country, the peace solution there has been evasive? My guest today on Globewatch is one of the forefront figures of the peace stabilization mission in the Central African Republic, the Archbishop of BANGUI, who equally serves as the country's first Cardinal. Your Eminence, Cardinal Dieudonne Nzapalainga, welcome to Globewatch.
Yes. Thank you.
Last year, immediately you were appointed Cardinal by Pope Francis. You immediately went to a Muslim community in Bangui in the Central African Republic. Clearly state to me the sense of ecumenism in your country.
L'idée que je peux vous dire, à cause de la crise qui est arrivée dans notre pays, où certains ont présenté en disant les chrétiens contre les musulmans. Because of the conflict in the country and on the basis of religion, religious leaders like myself and others came together to demonstrate unity as believers. Main dans la main pour tous les fidèles. Or, le pape est venu. When the Pope came visiting, he was with Muslims, Protestants, and I, a simple archbishop, follow his footsteps. The Pope braved all the odds to be in the Central African Republic. I went to P5, said to be the most dangerous quarter, to show solidarity to brothers and sisters and to spread the message of peace and togetherness in Christ as children of a united and not a divided family. Devons maintenant faire retentir le message de paix, le message de réconciliation, le message de convivialité dans le cœur des Centrafricains en leur disant tous fils des mêmes pères et non fils divisés.
You understand that the Catholic Church has been playing a key role in bringing stability back to the Central African Republic. What has been those key initiatives undertaken by the Roman Catholic Church to quench the conflicts between the Selekas and the Balaka?
Quand il y a eu des hommes en armes qui sont arrivés et qui ont commencé à s'en prendre à des paisibles populations par la violence, nous avons ouvert des églises, des communautés. Les gens sont venus se réfugier. When armed people began to attack innocent people violently, we opened the church spaces to host them as refugees, to console all those who lost everything. We tell them that God is our treasure. La communauté internationale et nationale en votre nom pour que les gens nous aident. C'est comme ça que nous avons visé. J'ai vu des chrétiens qui ont donné des habits, qui ont donné la nourriture. J'ai vu les autres caritas. We mobilized the international and national community, and people donated food, clothes, and provided shelter. Some charities sent funds and gave hope to many. We treated the wounded and told the people this is not a religious conflict, so we comforted our people. Le conflit qui est arrivé n'est pas un conflit religieux et que nous, leaders religieux, nous devons plutôt apporter de l'espoir, nous devons plutôt apporter du réconfort, consoler notre peuple.
You just said that the conflict in the Central African Republic is not a religious conflict, but you know, this is the idea which the global media landscape has succeeded to spread across. How do you convince ordinary Central Africans that, look, this is not a religious conflict, we are brothers and sisters, because to date, the violence has not ended?
Je vais simplement dire à ce citoyen que ceux qui ont donné des armes sont ni les imams, ni les pasteurs, ni les prêtres. Ceux qui entraînent ou qui préparent à aller attaquer des groupes, ni les imams, ni les prêtres, ni les pasteurs. Si vous regardez bien.
I simply tell the people that those who gave weapons were neither imams, pastors, nor priests. Look keenly in the Central African Republic. People do not fight for Korans or Bibles. They fight for diamond, gold, cows, to make money, natural resources, political positioning. They use young people as sacrificial lambs when they go to negotiate. They are not invited. And there are people behind this who instigate to become ministers.
C'est eux qui seront ministres et nous disons, ça c'est pas une bonne manière de faire la politique. Et nous disons, le conflit chez nous, ce n'est pas un conflit religieux, c'est un conflit militaro-politique. Il y a des militaires qui sont là, il y a des politiciens qui tirent des ficelles. Eux ne se présentent pas, mais nous savons qu'ils envoient de l'argent, ils poussent les jeunes à aller au premier rang. Et ensuite, comme les gens dans un pays...
This is not the right way to do things. It is a political and military issue with other stakes.
Le peu d'argent. Or, nous voulons dire non. Il faudrait quand même...
Since people are poor, they are vulnerable to do anything. We say no and tell them to have respect for the life of these children. Children should not carry arms. They should be in school. They give them weapons instead of pens. They drug them with the intention to create tension between Muslims and Christians. There is a hidden agenda.
Well, everybody saw you the world over with the Imam of Bangui holding hands together, traveling continents in Europe, in Africa, in the Americas to preach the message of peace. But you see, that message of peace has not been well received. Why is the peace message so erosive and so evasive in the Central African Republic?
Parce que depuis des années, on a pris la violence comme mode de conquête de pouvoir. À chaque fois, si je veux être ministre, il va falloir fomenter une rébellion, monter un groupe, et quand je veux me faire entendre, ensuite j'occuperai un...
Because for years, violence has been projected as the means to get to power. Each time someone wants to become a minister, he organizes a rebellion or group. We say no because we are talking to human conscience. There are so many interests involved and people have free conscience.
Il n'a rien à manger et tout, et à boire. Quand le chef politique va venir, va lui donner un peu d'argent en disant on va attaquer les...
After leaving the mosque and church without something to drink or eat, politicians call them, give them money, and say attack others. They manipulate the illiterate.
Depuis 1990, la scolarité chez nous n'a pas été continue. Beaucoup de jeunes, j'appelle ça génération sacrifiée. Donc ces jeunes-là sont prêts toujours, ils sont nés dans la violence, ils grandissent dans la violence.
Since 1990, school has been interrupted. I call these youths the lost generation. They are born in violence and we need to change this kind of education. We will continue to preach today and tomorrow until we are heard, touch the heart, and look at the same direction.
La solution à nos problèmes, ce n'est pas seulement par les armes. Les armes laissent un goût d'inachevé. C'est quand je veux frapper à la porte du cœur de l'autre et quand il va écouter mon message, va écouter son message et que notre cœur va se rapprocher, on va commencer par s'aimer, on travaillera, on regardera l'amitié.
The Central African Republic has a population of roughly 4 million people. at least 2.5 million, that is more than half of the country's population, is in need of humanitarian aid. You were with the St. Eligio community. You went to Rome to sign a kind of ceasefire agreement with some 14 armed rebellious groups to bring the situation to normalcy. What kind of humanitarian assistance is the Catholic Church in the Central African Republic providing to stressed communities, most of them found as refugees in neighboring Cameroon?
L'assistance humanitaire que les catholiques donnent à ces gens, c'est offrir son espace. Mettre en disposition des pasteurs en disant, aujourd'hui, nous devons prendre en compte les gens qui souffrent. Ça veut dire les écouter.
Est-ce que vous n'avez pas constaté que les gens sont fatigués à consommer la parole de Dieu qui est simplement spirituelle et n'est pas physique?
Non, justement, comme je vous dis, quand on se met ensemble pour réfléchir, moi, je vais crier, si je parle, je quitte ici, à supposer les gens de bonne volonté.
The humanitarian assistance from the Catholic Church is shelter. We provided pastors to listen to the people. We have to talk and provide money too. 10,000, for example, and we talk about God. You know, I am a minister of God. I speak to the heart, and when you have faith, it is even marvelous. We have to be closer to people because God is closer to us. We share pain with those in pain.
Voilà pourquoi sans cesse on doit maintenant chercher les voies et moyens. Ceux qui sont dans la misère, nous partageons leur misère. Parce que je vous ai dit tout à l'heure, beaucoup de gens dormaient.
And that is why I told you that many people slept and sleep around churches. We have seen our people suffer like Moses saw that of his people. That is why you saw us everywhere in the world with our peace pilgrim stick. There are people who are sick, who lack shelter, food. You need to help them. And people have come because we traveled and people saw us in planes and television as we defended the poor.
Parler que de Dieu et tout. Nous nous sommes déplacés physiquement dans des avions. Les gens nous ont vus à la télé, un peu partout, pour faire le plaidoyer pour le pauvre.
You and I at the headquarters of the National Episcopal Conference of Cameroon here in Yaoundé, where bishops of the Central African sub-region are meeting to discuss inter-religious dialogue. Do you really think that that is the main preoccupation of the believers community and societies in this region for the moment?
Je voulais simplement dire à tous ceux, à vous et à ceux qui pensent ainsi, que le monde est devenu un village.
Let me tell you and all others that the world has become a global village. What happens in Kolofata should be of interest to you. We have brothers and sisters who have died there. They are Cameroonians, they are human beings, and that is of concern to us.
Et qui préparent des enfants avec des grenades qui viennent et après qui s'exposent. Et ça, nous devons dire non. Et ça, il nous faudrait...
There are people who are ready to kill and tell children to wear bombs to explode. We say that is not the face of religion in the north.
Et ça, il faut le dire. Parce qu'aujourd'hui, il faut dire au sud, on est tranquille. Demain, quand il va avoir quelque chose...
Your Eminence, just give me some seconds. Each time religious leaders want to talk of inter-religious dialogue, it is always a question of Christianity versus Islam. Is there a war between Christianity and Islam? Whereas we know that there are so many religions in the world. But each time they talk of ecumenism, Christianity, Islam.
Je pense qu'il n'y a pas de guerre. La preuve, le pape est allé récemment en Égypte. Et vous avez vu, il était aussi avec les responsables musulmans de Al-Qazar.
I think there is no war. For example, the Pope was in Egypt of recent and was at one of the great universities. In each group, there are good and bad people. The evil of the small minority overshadows the great work of the good. We say that is not religion.
Le visage de cette religion-là, et nous voulons montrer le visage de la fraternité, le visage de la convivialité, le vers de l'unité, l'humanisme qui existe dans toutes ces
We have to
religions.
show
Bien sûr, il y a
fraternity,
d'autres religions
humanity
que vous avez
in
citées,
all
mais
religions.
ce qui est le plus important pour
Yes,
nous,
of course,
c'est que
there are
l'homme
other religions, like
qui
you
est
said.
sacré doit être
What is
respecté.
important
Et si
to us
aujourd'hui,
is that
en
all
Colombie,
that is sacred
un homme tombe,
should be
doit se
respected.
sentir concerné.
Today, when someone
Il faut pas
falls
que je
in
dise,
Colombia,
je suis seulement chez
I am
moi,
concerned.
je mange, je bois, et l'autre, il peut mourir et crever. Non, sa vie m'intéresse parce qu'il est créé aussi à l'image de Dieu. Et sa question doit me préoccuper.
Because he is created in the image of God, and I will do that through prayers to change the situation, to reduce wastage, because God created us to be happy, not to be sad.
Changer la situation, qu'il n'y ait pas beaucoup de morts, qu'il n'y ait pas beaucoup de destruction, qu'il n'y ait pas beaucoup de pillages, que la vie devienne belle. Parce que Dieu nous a créés pour le bonheur et non pour le malheur.
A while ago, I asked you a question that is it really necessary to talk about inter-religious dialogue in the Central African sub-region today? You know, one of the largest geographical areas in the world today where the Catholic Church is growing is Africa, with millions of people. People were expecting that cardinals like you should be talking homosexuality, should be talking of religious leaders who are kidnapped, killed, seized. All these are things that are happening with the church. They were expecting you people to be talking about pedophilia. You have put all of that in a sacred basket and not discuss. Is the church afraid to discuss certain issues?
Je ne pense pas que l'Église a peur. Les thèmes sont choisis largement à l'avance, en fonction des circonstances.
I do not think the church is afraid. The topics are chosen well in advance according to circumstances, and this is the case with what is occurring in the Lake Chad area, Cameroon, and the Central African Republic for us to take a position.
Les autres sujets que vous avez abordés, n'oubliez pas que en 2015, le pape a convoqué 2 synodes sur la famille.
The other issue you raised, do not forget, in 2015, the Pope convened a synod on the family, and this was openly discussed.
Et vous rassurez, chez nous les chrétiens, nous avons une anthropologie qu'on appelle chrétienne.
We have the Christian anthropology that God created man and woman. If someone wants to take another path, he is free, and I tell him to respect the path which God has indicated to me, and I will be faithful to it.
C'est simplement ça que je demande aux gens. Restez fidèles. Je ne vais pas aussi aller pour l'autre courant. Ça existe et tout, mais je le laisse. Mais si je veux être fidèle à mon engagement, voilà la voie à prendre. Et c'est simplement cela.
The relationship between the state and the Roman Catholic Church in particular. You guys always eat together. The Vatican, of course, is the smallest state in the world. Can you explain to me clearly the kind of relationship you entertain with governments in the world today, especially when they take very repressive measures? You and I are in a zone where very repressive terrorism laws have been taken. Does the church understand those issues, and what are their positions?
Moi, je pense que l'Église a toujours prôné la non-violence. Et ça, c'est indéniable.
I think that the church has always stood for non-violence, and that is undeniable. Christ tells us that he who kills is in darkness, and if I succeed to tell him to drop weapons, I have won a soul.
Gagner une âme. La solution, parfois, ce n'est pas dans la violence. La violence appelle la violence, c'est le cercle vicieux. On veut me mettre dans un piège. Il va falloir qu'on sorte de ce cercle.
Violence calls for violence. A vicious circle calls for violence.
Si on ne le fait pas, je viens, je tue brutalement, eh bien l'autre va encore se préparer, ainsi de suite. Ça va faire des générations. Maintenant, brisons, parlons.
Let us talk. Let us dialogue. That is the key to terrorism and war, because countries have laws to avoid chaos.
Pourquoi il y a ce conflit? Pourquoi il y a le terrorisme dans le Nord? Parlons-en. Il y a de l'espace pour ça. Eh bien, on va étouffer. Et un jour, ça peut exploser toujours. Et l'Église encourage à ce que la parole...
That is the way of the church, to look for peaceful methods to problems.
Il n'y a pas l'anarchie, il n'y a pas le chaos. Il y a quand même des règles qu'il faudrait respecter. Et c'est ça la voie de l'Église pour entraîner ses enfants à se retrouver, communiquer, parler, chercher des solutions pacifiques parce que notre religion est une religion de la paix. Et le Christ nous a laissé la paix.
A while ago, you said that the church has always preached peace, has been against violence. But you know, when you deliver such a message to those who have read books, have gone to school, they will just look at you and laugh that the message you are saying is full of hypocrisy. You know of Roman Catholic bishops who blessed the war in Kosovo. And probably that is why people hardly listen to the message of peace delivered by ministers of God, especially those who come from the Roman Catholic Church, because there is a violence that favors you people.
Alors je vais vous rassurer, parce qu'on peut parler que de ce qu'on sait. Moi-même, en République centrafricaine, il y a eu la violence.
Let me tell you that I say that which I know. I have never told people to be violent.
Pour les tuer. J'ai demandé à mes prêtres plutôt d'accueillir.
I have encouraged all priests to engage in dialogue with all people for no good reason.
Pourquoi est-ce que vous tirez, vous faites du mal à mes risques et périls? C'est pas du déjà vu. Je parle de ce que moi-même j'ai vécu. Je demande aussi.
Should weapons be used, we must win evil with God, like Paul says in the book of Corinthians.
Les gens qui tuent ou qui font du mal, notre Dieu était Dieu qui veut du bien. Tu dois vaincre le mal par le bien, comme a dit Saint Paul aux Corinthiens.
You have just been made a cardinal by Pope Francis, who is the second to visit the country last 2016. Last year, Pope John Paul II had been there. You did studies in Cameroon. You master France so well and the region. What are your new responsibilities, episcopal responsibilities, as the first ever cardinal from the Central African Republic? In other words, the Cardinal to me of Cameroon.
Alors, vous voyez la particularité de l'Église catholique. Au niveau du Vatican, le Saint-Siège, c'est un État.
The peculiarity of the Catholic Church is that at the Vatican, it is a state with the Pope at the head, surrounded by collaborators, cardinals. There is the pastoral and the episcopal mission.
Voir pour l'Église catholique. Un cardinal, c'est un collaborateur du pape. Il y en a qui sont soit à Rome ou bien qui sont sur le terrain. C'est mon cas sur le terrain. Et à ce niveau,
the collaborators of the Pope, some are in the Vatican, others are on the field, which is my case. When I travel, I meet presidents and ministers, and I continue to talk peace to help the poor in my country and the sub-region.
Et des difficultés que rencontrent aussi certaines populations de la sous-région pour attirer l'attention et surtout dire à certains jeunes qui pensent que la solution, c'est toujours aller en Europe, dire qu'on peut aussi bâtir une nouvelle société, être heureux chez nous, mais il faut avoir un projet de vie.
Lately, I was in Algeria for that, and I told the youth who think the solution is Europe. I tell them that with a good project, they can make it here. My mission is to be the voice of the voiceless, and no one can stop that because they too are children of God.
Cette voix-là, je continue à dire, ceux qui souffrent, il faudrait qu'on les prenne en considération. Ils sont aussi enfants de Dieu.
In 30 seconds, what message will you have for those who commit evil, devilish acts in the name of God?
Le Dieu en qui je crois, ce n'est pas un Dieu de violence, c'est un Dieu de paix, un Dieu d'amour, un Dieu de bonté. Et je demande à ceux...
The God in which I believe is not a God of violence. He is a God of peace,
Désarmer
love.
leur cœur, désarmer leur esprit pour accueillir Dieu, parce que ce n'est pas la vengeance, la haine qui nous prend aux tripes et on est dans cette spirale diabolique.
And I tell those with weapons to drop them and disarm their hearts and welcome God by stopping evil, and together we will build a better world.
Ensemble, on bâtira un monde nouveau.
The Archbishop of Bangui, Your Eminence Cardinal Dieudonne Nzapalainga, thank you very much indeed for being guest on Globewatch. Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
You are welcome.